The theater and the cinema must not depend on the director. People always answer that by saying, yes, what's important is the story.
Did the Hollywood Golden Age actors have a dark side? In an industry built on illusion where make-believe was the primary product, it's easy to see how some stars blurred the lines between reality and performance. Here are those charming actors with abusive characters behind closed doors. Number 10, Kirk Douglas. Coming at number 10, we have Kirk Douglas with his distinctive chin dimple and commanding presence. He was one of Hollywood's most iconic leading men, known for his performances in films such as Spartacus and Paths of Glory. Douglas represented strength, resilience, and moral fortitude on screen. However, his off-screen persona was far more complicated. In recent years, Douglas's legacy has been spoiled by serious allegations. In her 2021 memoir, little sister Lana Wood, Natalie Wood's younger sister, publicly accused Douglas of sexually assaulting Natalie Wood when she was just 16 years old in the summer of 1955. According to Lana, the assault occurred at a meeting arranged by Natalie's mother, who was desperate to advance her daughter's career. Douglas, in his late 30s at the time, allegedly invited Natalie to his hotel room where the attack took place. Lana claims that Natalie returned home deeply traumatized, but was pressured by her mother to remain silent about the incident, fearing that it would damage her beginning career. The revelation, though, long suspected by some, shocked many fans and complicated the actor's legacy. While Douglas had always been open about his difficult personality and acknowledged his many affairs, this darker aspect of his past only came to light after his death in 2020 at the age of 103. Though Douglas's family has largely remained silent, his son Michael Douglas issued a brief statement, wishing peace for both his father and Natalie Wood. However, the allegations against Douglas extend beyond this one incident. He openly admitted that he was disliked by many in Hollywood, often blaming his difficult childhood as the root of his temperament. Just an excuse, likely. Even his co-stars noted his aggressive behaviour, but Lancaster famously remarked that working with Douglas could be a nightmare. Douglas's controlling nature was most evident during the production of Spartacus, where he famously fired the director after just 1 week of shooting and clashed with Stanley Kubrick during the filming of Paths of Glory. Though Douglas was undoubtedly a cinematic giant, his personal life was littered with stories of infidelity, control, and temperamental outbursts. It's this duality, hero on screen, tormentor off, that continues to define his legacy. Number 9, Mickey Rooney. Up next is Mickey Rooney, one of the most famous child stars in Hollywood history. This guy was the embodiment of youthful charm and innocence on screen. His iconic roles in films like National Velvet and the Andy Hardy series made him one of the most beloved stars of his time. But behind the boy next door persona was a man who was reportedly difficult, cruel, and abusive. Rooney's behaviour towards his co-stars, particularly during the filming of National Velvet, became infamous. Elizabeth Taylor, then just a 12-year-old teenager, reportedly suffered from Rooney's volatile and sometimes predatory behaviour on set. You see, Rooney later dismissed these allegations, referring to Taylor as entitled and questioning her talent. However, those who worked closely with him often described him as bombastic and rude, far removed from the pleasant characters that he portrayed. Rooney's personal life was just as chaotic as his professional one. He married 8 times, struggled with substance abuse, and faced constant financial difficulties. His inability to transition from child star to adult actor gracefully only worsens his insecurities, leading to more strange behaviour. Rooney's portrayal of a stereotyped Asian character in Breakfast at Tiffany's drew significant criticism for its racial insensitivity, further damaging his later career. Number 8, Faye Dunaway. With the striking features and powerful performances, Faye Dunaway became one of Hollywood's most impressive actresses. She's best known for her roles in films like Bonnie and Clyde, Chinatown, and Network, where her intense magnetic screen presence garnered critical acclaim. However, Dunaway's off-screen persona has often been described as difficult, volatile, and even cruel. Her reputation as a difficult actress was solidified during the production of the Broadway play Tea at 5, in which she portrayed Katharine Hepburn. Dunaway was reportedly dismissed from the production after physical altercations and creating a toxic work environment. One incident involved Dunaway allegedly slapping a crew member, fueling rumours of a violent temper. These accounts aren't isolated. Throughout her career, many colleagues have spoken about her unpredictable behaviour on set, During the filming of Chinatown, Dunaway reportedly threw a cup of liquid, allegedly filled with urine, at director Roman Polanski during an argument. She later denied the incident, calling it preposterous, but the stories persisted in Hollywood history. Even more troubling were her interactions with the co-stars. James Woods, who worked with Dunaway on the disappearance of Amy, recalled how she threw an object at him after he improvised a line. Quite a pattern, isn't it? Dunaway's behaviour shocked even seasoned actors, including Bette Davis herself, known for a fiery temperament. Davis once remarked that Dunaway was the most difficult person she'd ever worked with, a damning statement from one of Hollywood's most famous divas. Despite her undeniable talent, Dunaway's reputation for being combative and controlling has overshadowed many of her career accomplishments. Her legacy as one of Hollywood's most revered actresses is now blackened with stories of backstage drama, physical altercations, and a demanding personality that pushed her colleagues to their limits. Number 7. Orson Welles. How many great filmmakers can you recall? Orson Welles must be one of them for sure. Citizen Kane regularly tops lists of best films ever made. His pioneering work as a director, writer, and actor changed the course of cinema forever, leaving an unforgettable mark on Hollywood. Yet, despite his undeniable brilliance, Welles was known for his harsh criticisms of others, his unpredictable moods, and his often petty behaviour. Welles's private conversations, recorded in long-lost tapes with his friend and fellow director Henry Jaglom, paint a picture of a man who had little respect for his peers. In these tapes, Welles was scathing in his assessment of other actors and directors. He described Laurence Olivier as stupid, dismissed Spencer Tracy as a hack, and referred to Charlie Chaplin as arrogant. Welles saved some of his harshest criticism for actresses like Bette Davis, who he admitted he couldn't stand to watch, and Jennifer Jones, who he wrote of as untalented. Beyond his verbal attacks, Welles's relationships with Hollywood studios were rocky. He was notorious for clashing with producers and financiers, often leading to his projects being delayed or underfunded. His perfectionism and unwillingness to compromise while contributing to his cinematic brilliance also made him difficult to work with. Studios often hesitated to back his projects, fearing the financial risks associated with his erratic and often egotistical behaviour. Despite his irritable nature and his frequent conflicts with collaborators, Welles maintained a loyal group of friends and admirers who respected his genius. While celebrated as a visionary, Welles was also a man whose sharp tongue and disdain for others alienated many in Hollywood. Number 6. Errol Flynn. Now it's time we talked about Errol Flynn with his devil-may-care attitude and matinee idol looks. He was at the top of adventure and romance on screen, best known for his roles in films like Captain Blood and The Adventures of Robin Hood. Flynn was the ultimate swashbuckling hero, but behind his charming smile and carefree demeanour lay a darker, more sinister side. Flynn's life off-screen was filled with scandal. He was notorious for his womanizing and hard-partying lifestyle, earning him the nickname Hollywood's Bad Boy. But what truly damaged his legacy was the sexual assault allegations that surfaced in 1942. Flynn was accused by 2 teenage girls of statutory rape, a case that shocked the public and threatened to end his career. While Flynn was ultimately cleared, the trial became a media spectacle, forever associating his name with scandal. Flynn's arrogance during the trial didn't help his public image. He was dismissive of the charges, reportedly making flippant remarks and behaving as if he were untouchable. After his absolution, his reputation as a ladies' man only grew, but so did the rumours of his abusive behaviour towards women. His memoir, My Wicked, Wicked Ways, published after his death, did little to dispel the image of a man who lived recklessly and without regard for the consequences of his actions. Despite his scandals, Flynn's popularity never truly slowed during his lifetime. His roles as the dashing hero remained iconic, but his off-screen behaviour left a trail of damaged reputations and broken lives. Today, Flynn's remembered as much for his scandals as he is for his on-screen adventures. Number 5. Peter Sellers. Sellers was a comic genius best known for his roles in Doctor Strangelove and the Pink Panther series, where his ability to transform into wildly different characters made him one of the most versatile actors of his time. But Sellers' genius was accompanied by a deeply troubled personality, one that made him a nightmare to work with for many of his colleagues. Sellers was known for his strange behaviour and unpredictable moods. His relationship with director Blake Edwards, who directed the Pink Panther films, was particularly strained. While Edwards admired Sellers' talent, he also described him as deeply insecure and prone to wild emotional swings. Sellers believed that his manic energy fueled his performances, but it often disrupted production and alienated his co-stars. Sellers' personal life was just as chaotic. He had a rocky love life with 4 marriages and numerous affairs. His erratic behaviour was attributed to deep-rooted insecurities and mental health issues, which he struggled to manage. Sellers often conversed with the spirit of his deceased mother, carrying a shrine to her wherever he went, a peculiar habit that unsettled those around him. His career, despite his genius, was marked by self-destruction. He'd go from moments of brilliance on set to periods of deep depression and paranoia. These extremes made him both a fascinating and difficult figure in Hollywood, like, who could feel safe around him? While Sellers' comedic talent remains undeniable, his personal demons and troubled relationships are definitely all we can remember him for. Number 4, Milton Berle. You know who's often called as Mr. Television? That would be Milton Berle. He was one of the most influential figures during the early years of TV. While his comedic talent helped shape the variety show format that dominated 1950s television, his off-screen behaviour reveals a darker side of the man behind the laughter. Berle's pioneering career began in vaudeville, where his talent for slapstick comedy and impersonations made him a standout. His peak came with the Texaco Star Theatre, where his cheerful and often outrageous performances made him a household name. His comedic style, which involved cross-dressing and broad physical humour, resonated with millions, earning him the nickname Uncle Milty and cementing his place in entertainment history. However, behind the scenes, Berle had a reputation for being notoriously difficult to work with. His aggressive personality, both on and off set, alienated many of his peers. Known for controlling every aspect of his shows, he clashed with writers, producers, and fellow performers. Berle's personal life was equally rocky. He had a troubled relationship with his first wife, Joyce Matthews, and their highly publicised divorce destroyed his public image. His extramarital affairs and Matthews' suicide attempts further damaged his reputation, at a time when Hollywood stars were expected to maintain a wholesome image. Berle's humour, especially his use of ethnic jokes and sexual innuendo, often walked a fine line. While popular with audiences, it earned him critics as well, particularly during the conservative post-war years when such material was seen as inappropriate for family television. His domineering behaviour extended beyond his professional life. Many colleagues and acquaintances reported instances of bullying and manipulation. This contributed to his image as a man who could be as cruel as he was comedic. Berle's arrogance reached its peak during his ill-fated hosting event on Saturday Night Live in 1979. His appearance on the show is often cited as one of the worst in the show's history. Berle's refusal to follow the script, his constant mugging for the camera, and his insistence on micromanaging the production led to chaos. Number 3, Wallace Beery. Wallace Beery was one of Hollywood's most beloved character actors, often playing the gruff but lovable everyman in films like The Champ and The Grand Hotel, but behind his gruff exterior was a man with a reputation for cruelty and violence. Beery's treatment of his colleagues, particularly young actors, was undeniably harsh. Mickey Rooney, who worked with Beery as a child actor, recalled how Beery bullied and mistreated him on set. Rooney later described Beery as mean, nasty man, who had no patience for the young actors that he worked with. One of the darkest incidents associated with Beery involves his alleged role in the death of comedian Ted Healy, the creator of The Three Stooges. In 1937, Healy died after a violent altercation at the Café Trocadero, and rumours quickly spread that Beery, along with Pat DeKiko and Albert Cubby Broccoli, had assaulted him. Though no formal charges were brought against Beery, and MGM, the studio that employed him, may have helped to cover up the incident, the suspicion has haunted his legacy. Beery's cruelty wasn't confined to bathroom fights. His first wife, the famous actress Gloria Swanson, recounted in her memoir how he abused her both physically and emotionally during their brief marriage. Most shocking was a claim that Beery tricked her into taking pills to induce an abortion without her knowledge. How inhumanely twisted is that? Obviously, the marriage ended in divorce shortly afterwards, marking Beery as a manipulative and abusive husband. Child star Jackie Cooper, who worked with him in The Champ and Treasure Island, described Beery as jealous and mean-spirited, treating him with cruelty and trying to sabotage his scenes. Number 2, Bing Crosby. Bing Crosby's smooth voice and effortless charm made him one of the most popular entertainers of the 20th century and a cultural icon during the 1930s and 40s. His iconic rendition of White Christmas remains one of the best-selling singles of all time. He also found success in Hollywood, starring in popular films such as Going My Way and The Bells of St. Mary's. His easygoing, wholesome persona made him a beloved figure in the public eye, but this image clashed sharply with how his children and close associates described his behaviour behind closed doors. Much of the darker side of Crosby's life came to light after his death, particularly through the memoirs and interviews of his children. Number 1. Henry Fonda. Finally, we have an actor that was seen as the topmost form of American decency on screen. We're obviously talking about Henry Fonda. His roles in films like The Grapes of Wrath and 12 Angry Men painted him as a man of integrity and moral strength. Fonda's quiet, understated performances made him one of Hollywood's most respected actors. However, Fonda's personal life was anything but the picture of American virtue that he portrayed on screen. Fonda was known for his cold, distant nature, particularly when it came to his family. His children, Jane and Peter Fonda, often spoke about how emotionally unavailable their father was. Jane, in particular, struggled with a relationship with her father, describing him as distant and unaffectionate. While Fonda was beloved by audiences for his on-screen warmth, he was often detached and uncommunicative in his private life. Fonda's marriages were similarly rocky. He was married 5 times and his infidelity was well known in Hollywood circles. His relationship with actress Margaret Sullivan, his first wife, was particularly upsetting. Sullivan reportedly found Fonda cold and unresponsive, leading to their eventual divorce. Fonda's personal relationships were often marked by emotional distance and a refusal to engage with those closest to him. The all-American hero was in reality a man who struggled with intimacy and connection. That's some twist that no one could have predicted, don't you think? Well, that's it for now. Got anyone else? Comment down below all details. And hey, don't be a stranger. Hit the subscribe button, you'll get more of our fabulous content and we'll be happy. Give the video a like and stay tuned, we'll reach you soon with more.